Okay. Welcome to Maker Monday. I'm the director of the Wakulla County Public Library. My name is Robyn Drummond, and I'm going to show you how to make a little storage caddy out of a shoebox, because I like to build things out of cardboard and I like to upcycle things too. You're going to need your shoebox. Any shoebox will work. A long ruler, not necessarily a yardstick, one that's at least as long as your shoebox. Some tape or a glue gun. You can do this with a glue gun, but it's trickier, so I recommend the tape. Parents, if your kids are making this, pay attention. They need to use something to cut the box with. I'm using one of these little very sharp box cutters. A pencil to mark your box, and then I just have my little nifty short ruler because it helps me draw straighter lines than this. So you don't need your lid right now, so we're going to set that to the side. And what you want to do first is measure your box and figure out where the half point is. So my box is 11 inches long, so 5.5 inches is going to be my halfway point. So I'm going to mark it there, and I'm going to mark it up here just so that it helps me draw a straighter line. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So 5.5 inches, 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to draw that line because I'm going to have to cut that later. So we got that line marked, and then I'm going to come back and mark it on this side too. And that's going to be where the fold in our box is going to be, but we got to cut a triangle out. And the other thing you need to figure out is how deep you want the sides of your caddy to be. I like them to be about 3 inches because I tend to cram a lot of stuff in there. So I'm going to mark, here's my midpoint. I'm going to mark from the outsides of the box my 3-inch point. Okay, and you want to do that on both sides. And then what you need to do is, I made my first line goes from here to here, and then my little line that I made goes here. So now we've got to make a triangle. So I'm going to connect those lines and lay out the piece that I really need to cut out of the box. Okay, so once you have that triangle marked on both sides of your box is when you'll want to cut that out very carefully.
What was your last list of questions? Questions that people don't normally ask? Pull that up. After some of those. Those are fun.
Well, I'm going to be done by the time she pulls anything up. I'm cutting away from my fingers. Okay, see, that was it. Okay, so now we have our V's cut out of our box. And what you want to do is just kind of gently start to bend it over. And if you measured right, which mine bent a little wrong, it's cardboard, you can finagle it a little bit. You just have to watch where the corrugations are in your cardboard. So you can kind of see how our little caddy's going to look. What I'm going to do is go on and tape the bottom together so that it stands up the way that I want it to. And I overuse masking tape, so you may not need as much tape as I'm going to use on mine. And then I do that too. So I'm going to wrap it to the inside so that it really pulls it together. And what's happening with mine is it's not really lining up correctly at the bottom, but it'll still hold stuff. So I'm going to get my tape, straighten it back out maybe. and fold it in. So that way it's holding my caddy together the way that I want it. So you should have 2 little triangles like this that will be disposed of, so we haven't wasted much. And then what you want to do is make the piece to go across so that it will actually hold all of your stuff in the caddy. And that's where your box lid is going to come into play. There's a couple different ways to do this. I know that I made this 3 inches deep. So what I like to do is just to measure across, which that's not long enough to do. So measure across this way, and I've got 6 1/4 inches. So that I know I need, so actually that's not, yeah, it is 3 inches. 6 1/4 by 3 inch rectangle to fill this in. So you can tear the sides of your box lid like this so it's a little easier to have a flat piece to work with. And in theory, this should be the right size to go across that, but you may need to trim just a little bit off. So I'm going to measure across that. It is just a little big. So I'm going to mark it. And then I'm going to mark 3 inches. To help with the fold of that box, you can lightly score the box with your box cutter before you fold it so that it doesn't get a little wonky like mine. Just be very, very careful not to cut all the way through the box because it's very easy to do that. Okay, so I have my pieces marked, and I'm going to cheat a little bit and go cut these out on the paper cutter. Alright, so I cut out my 2 pieces that will hold everything into my little cubby. And so this is the scrap that I have. So you should have some pieces that look like this. And that means we managed to use that much of the box, and this is what we have left to recycle. So that's not too bad. To put these ends on, what I usually do is I lay it down flat, and I tear a piece of tape that's a little bit bigger than the piece itself. And I go on and stick this to that so that I kind of have it already pre-sticky. And then you can take it and just put it in its little place and wrap the tape down the sides. So that's got one cubby side. The other cubby side. And then, like I said, I like to use too much tape. So I'll close up the rest of this corner. I usually end up putting masking tape all over the whole thing. You probably don't need to use that much. Especially if you have tape problems like I tend to when it gets bent over and stuck and wrinkled and not so pretty. And you don't have to use masking tape. You can use any kind of tape if you want to use the clear Scotch tape. So this is basically what the little cubby looks like. You could probably cut a little handle out here if you wanted a little kid handle. You could add some different, you have a piece left here. You could take this piece and cut out some other little panels to put in here to make dividers for pencils or crayons, or if you're using it in the bathroom, you could put your cotton balls or whatever you wanted to in here. And you can take the whole thing, you can spray paint it, you can paint it with a paintbrush, you can decoupage it, whatever you want to do to make it fit your decor. But you end up with this really nifty little caddy. I have one of these on my desk actually that I'm going to cover in hopefully some Hogwarts fabric later, and can hold all of your little doodads and supplies. So it's just a neat way to take something old, turn it into something new, upcycle it, and put your own little spin on it and have a new way to organize things. So I hope you enjoyed this Maker Monday. Have a little fun with this project. Organize, recycle, and we'll see you later.